And we will have data that will come back on, we'll report on that for the camps for this year, and we'll look at last year versus this year. Okay, so this is basically our goals from last year. This is what we said we were going to do, and this is what we did. I'm not going to go into it in a lot of details other than to say we actually held 2 more sessions, peer group sessions last year than we had scheduled because you requested it. We ended up putting in about 12 hours worth of material into your archives so that you could go back and review material. And that's just having to do with these sessions. And we had committed that we wanted over 60% of the branches to participate in at least one of these sessions. And in fact, over 60% did participate in at least one of the sessions, and average was almost 60% for all sessions. So that's good. We added capacity back to Northern California. So we put Hopper and Carson, Hopper in at Santa Clara and Carson in at Santa Cruz. So we were able to add some additional capacity back there and didn't force Sonoma into having to do 2 camps again. We did put in a new TTAC advisory board, and they met weekly, bi-weekly to monthly over the course of the year to figure out what they wanted to be. During the course of the year, we worked to go ahead and we verified an alumna email list that says these emails should not bounce. So we do have a pretty good email list for essentially our high school level kids. High school and college, undergrad college. We published the first alumni newsletter last year, and it was a beautiful thing. And hopefully we're going to work on that this year. And they piloted the alum Pen Pal initiative. In 2024, we transitioned all of the camp treasurers to QuickBooks Online. So that is that will definitely be a help. It's going to be a tremendous help to me to be able to see where the camps are at from a single point without having to recreate it every time I need to look at something. We did a lot of work on the Tech Trek California policies and procedures. So take a look at those. There's I refer to them a little bit later on for if you want to help out and help us try and find some people to help us with some of the staff roles we have. And again, we continued the Camp Doc office hours, and I added the Camp Doc administrator. Linda Gidlin from La Mesa is the Camp Doc administrator, and she'll work with you as we go into 2025 to do some training and some other things. This is just to show the information that we had about who participates when. So this is in these peer group sessions that we had last year. Basically, we were above 60% until y'all felt pretty comfortable in March that, you know, I know what's going on. And so few of you are showing up in April and May. And that makes total sense to me because you're more plugged into what you need to do. So, but average, it's saying that you are participating in these sessions and the branches are participating. So if we look at 2025, again, since we did 8 sessions last year, we're doing 8 sessions this year. That's the goal, is to make sure that we get 8 sessions through. I'm raising the bar. I'm going to say I want to raise it up and see if we can get 3/4 of the branches to participate in these sessions. And we're going to go ahead and get the branch resources updated pretty quick here so that you can go out early and use them for fundraising and recruiting. And somebody has been calling and asking, can we get a video? Can we get this? And it's like, we're working on it. We're going to keep working on that. We need to add program capacity back in Southern California. So that's one of our goals for 2025 is to add at least 1 camp, maybe 2 camps worth in Southern California. And that may be a multi-year goal to do that. This year, I am going to recommend that we put provide some funding for alum activities. So for those of you who have Tech Trek alum that get together periodically or want to start doing things, we're going to set up a way for you to be able to access some funding to accomplish some of that. So that we've been talking to SPF about how we facilitate that. And one of the goals that the subcommittee that's working on this, Carla Rosen is heading that up out of Healdsburg, is to connect. We want to connect 3/4 of the branches that have that are out there. Right now, we only have 50 to 57% of our branches have Tech Trek alum kind of relationships where they're working it. We want to get that to 75%. So she's got a goal of targeting, trying to get those branches that aren't connecting today, see what we have to do to get them connected. We want to publish a regular newsletter. They want to expand the Pen Pal initiative, and we're going to continue exploring some research and funding opportunities because there are lots of places that are looking to give you money for doing the kinds of things that we do. It's just a matter of us structuring something that enables us to continue to do what we want to do, but take their money. So I'm working on that part of it. And we're going to continue transitioning from paper to digital. So this year we are going to try to use QuickBooks Online to develop and review our budgets. So that will be a new thing for us to try and get to that point. And the big issue is really right now we're duplicating a lot of data entries, so we have to fix that. We are going to do some customized CampDoc training this year. So they're going to work with us. They're going to set us up with a web page that you all will be able to go to answer specific questions about our specific software, not the generic CampDoc stuff. And also to help you work through some of the processes that you work through right now in doing your selection, identifying your candidates, reviewing paperwork, that kind of thing. And as part of that, we're going to try and work on improving our web presence too. So this is really just a high-level timeline over the next month to tell you where we're going. And there's a more detailed one a little bit further down that I'm not going to walk through in detail tonight, but this is basically to let you know what's going to happen in the next month. So for all of those of you who are very interested in where are the camps going to be and how much is my fee going to be, this year is probably going to, what happened this year. So Santa Clara will still be there. Carson will still be there. Sonoma will be there. Davis will be there. We're trying to get those dates plugged in. They'll probably be around the same time as they are right now. Carson may move a little bit because we got in the cycle late last year, but we're trying for the same, July kind of time frame. The same with Hopper at Santa Clara. UC Santa Barbara, we are in serious conversations with them. We will undoubtedly have a camp at UC Santa Barbara this year. That will be in the recommendation. It'll be probably one camp. At this time, we're trying to up it to about 100 instead of the typical 80 so that we can add a little bit more capacity. But that camp will probably be the last week of June instead of July. And that's because of the availability of what we need on site at UC Santa Barbara this year. For those of you who are typical UC Santa Barbara branches, they are going to be demolishing the residence halls and the dining hall where they have been sending campers for the last 10, 12 years. However, 15 years, however many years they've been at UC Santa Barbara, they've been in the same res halls. After 2025, they're going to demolish it. So this year, we're probably going to start at a different site location within UC Santa Barbara, a different setup, and that will be the start of the new UC Santa Barbara. So that's just a heads up to those of you who are served by the Santa Barbara camps. The rest of everything's going to follow pretty closely. Again, in October, you'll get a sneak peek at the total recommendations that we're making, which will include preliminary schedule, preliminary fees, so that you will know how much money that you need to raise. And then we'll go ahead and we'll go through the normal process in November of saying, you know, how many do you want, where. This year, we're going to continue to emphasize the importance of volunteers and contributing volunteers where you can to support however many campers that you're going to send. So that's going to be pretty important because we can't run the camps without the volunteers. We were fortunate in that somebody raised their hand to be the camp director at Santa Barbara, but we need more than a camp director. We need a lot of people to run a camp. It takes 30 to 35 people to run a camp. And so we need to have those kinds of volunteers raise their hand too. Let's see. So again, talking about staffing needs, we are going to need several treasurers. And in the new the 2023 policies and procedures. And by the way, if you click this policies and procedures, it'll probably prompt you for a password. And the password is AAUWCA, all lowercase. So it'll show you in there what the time commitment expectations are. So you can share that information with branch members if you have an opportunity to. But we're going to need a treasurer at Whittier. Kay is going to retire as of the end of the year. Carson, we need one as of immediately. Virtual, which I'm doing right now, we needed one as of yesterday. And Sue Jennings from Fresno has been helping out with that. I would like to find somebody to backfill me, okay? So that's really my goal for next year, is to find my own backfill. I am going to be looking for somebody to take over for me in 2026. So I know all of you are just clamoring to do that. I can see you all just jumping, chomping at the bit, wanting to do it. Yeah. So the other thing that we're going to need is some co-directors to help out. So we want to put some camp directors in training. I'd like to get, we do need co-directors at Virtual, Carson, and Whittier in 2025. Diane has already shared that next year is her last year. So we're going to need to have a co-director at Sonoma to help Jessica out. And the camp directors are getting tired of hearing me say that they should be identifying, doing their succession plan. You need to be finding people to backfill, just like y'all need to be doing it too, so that, you know, you can go on and have some fun doing something else, stepping up and being a program director in training, you know, something like that. But again, all roles are volunteers. So we have zero, what I will call a wage role. We have paid roles, but it's a very, very small stipend. And they're intentionally left small so that we don't have to get sucked into the whole payroll thing. All roles are female, and that is our primary goal, is to make sure that we build this community, and that's detailed in section 400 of the policies and procedures as to why we do that. So the rationale is there, and if somebody asks a question, you can share that rationale with them. And it's basically that girls learn better with people that look from people who look like them. And it's the same thing with some other minorities too, other underserved populations that are typically not the in-group. So this is the detailed list I was talking about. Y'all can look at that and save that and print it out and keep it as your cheat sheet. I'm not going to go through it in detail. These are all probably, most of them are going to be modified because they all reflect 2024. So they'll have the dates. They're all going to be updated. But some of them, like the sample letter, you can do that change yourself. The content is probably not going to change that much. The flyer will not change. There are certain things that are not going to change that much. So go ahead and use those until we update them. And that should happen over the next 4 to 6 weeks. We should be working on getting all of that information updated so that you can share it. And again, our next session, it's going to be October 17th at 6:30. Register for one, register for all. So there is no, you can come to one, you can come to all, doesn't matter. So questions, comments, concerns. Somebody asked, what is AVID? Do you want to explain what AVID is, Barb?
Yeah, AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, and it's a statewide program. While it's international, Mary Catherine Swanson started it in the 80s because of discrimination with busing, and minority kids were given the shaft, basically. And so my school district started it after someone realized, like, oh my God, our kids aren't going to college. So you take your kids that are basically underserved, their parents, first generation, parents have not been to college. And you basically start them in 7th grade saying, whoa, you can do it. And you go visit colleges, you do tutorials in class. And basically I brought it up because of the whole interview process. You do want your higher kids, but you want to make sure you don't get a mass of problem kids, because then you're beating yourself up. And the success of taking kids that have socioeconomic problems, but not a host of other behavioral and other issues, those kids go to Princeton. They get full rides to Princeton. They get full rides to UCSD. It's amazing. And you're not going to get that success if you think it's just an at-risk program. It's really not. It's a way to serve the middle. Right. And to me, Tech Trek, that's why I'm so excited about, I retired 4 years ago, being part of Tech Trek. Because in my mind, and I might be approaching it wrong, but I would think of my AVID background, because I would think you want some of your brightest, strongest kids that, yeah, they might have a socioeconomic issue, but they're pretty strong, and they might not get to that awesome university because of their economic issues. But other than that, well, they're there. So to me, that's what I see Tech Trek serving.
Yay. We like that.
Okay.
Judy, your comment? You're on mute, by the way.
Yeah, I wanted to know if the alumni newsletter could be sent to the branch coordinator. It would be good to have that information, because I have been contacting all my girls from both last year and this year who attended the camp. And it's really difficult to get them to even answer emails.
Isn't it?
Out of 12 girls, I typically get 4 who will respond.
Yeah. And that's unfortunately
That
pretty difficult. That's pretty, I think that you got a 35% or what, 33% response. That's pretty good, actually.
That's good. Okay.
But it is a challenge, and I think we can certainly, the newsletter, the last one that they did was last year. So one of the issues with the newsletters, and it's they have such enthusiasm that you don't want to shut them down, but they're like, first they started out, we're going to do it monthly. And then they went from monthly to quarterly. And so now it's the first annual, right? And so it's like, you have to kind of scale. They think that they can accomplish more, and they've got so much on their plates right now in high school and getting ready for college and stuff. So, yes, I'll add that to the list of suggestions that we make sure, and we will send it to the TTAG advisors. And I think I did send it to y'all last year when it came out, the one that we did have. But by the time it comes out, sometimes some of the activities in it are delayed. They're due, they happened already. And so that's one of the challenges with providing something that has current information in it. But we'll continue working on that. And I know Carla's really gung ho on it, so I'm excited that she is driving the train.
The other question I had is, would the timing of the Santa Barbara camp impact the timing of the San Diego camp, which is at the end of June?
No, it shouldn't impact the San Diego camp. And just FYI, folks in San Diego, we are having conversations with the University of San Diego too, right now, because UCSD cranked up their prices 50% last year. And of course they did it late, so we couldn't address it. And it's just like crazy that the fact that they went up so much, it was amazing. So we are in conversations with the University of San Diego. So that's a potential switch, but I don't think it'll impact much. It's in the same vicinity. So it's not like they'd have to travel further. And we should know more about that in October. Okay.
50%,
thank you.
like $1,500?
It was, so their cost was
Thousands.
no, their cost in 19, their cost, the campus cost
Oh,
in 19 or 2023 was 95, I want to say, a night, and it went up to almost 150 a night.
Ooh.
And it was like, yikes, that's a big jump. So it
Yeah.
was not and we had some issues that we had to work through with them during the course of the camp. So it was the first camp. We're typically the first camp of the season. And so they're working out all of the problems on us. And so that definitely was a problem last year. Lucy, you're on mute, by the way, Lucy.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to answer Judy's, was saying that there was a problem with getting kids to answer emails. And it's much more time consuming, but they're much more likely to answer texts.
Yes, they are.
That works.
And
So I
sometimes
just
if
wanted
you
to-
just text them and say, check your email.
Exactly. And that's what I've found really helps. And then if you really can't get through it, then it helps to text or email mom too.
Yes,
So
that too.
get them in the loop.
That works till they're out of college. I mean, out of high school. Yeah, some kids it's out of college. Martha.
This, at our branch, there are a number of newbies, and I'm one of them,
Uh-huh.
to Tech Trek anyway, and being involved in Tech Trek. All of the information pretty much at this meeting, and I understand why, and it's fine, has been at the state level. This is what the state is going to be doing, and
Yep.
you will start getting something in, I don't know, November, December, whatever.
Yeah.
So give a pep talk, please, somebody, to the people who have never done this before and are thinking, oh my God. All right, go.
That one of y'all want to take this on other than me that has done it and has stepped in and said, I was here 2 years ago, or I was here a year ago. And really, it's not that bad. It takes you a little while to catch up, I think. I'm just looking at who's here. That I know.
Not that bad. It's not a pep talk, guys.
Sandra, how about you? You're on mute.
I'm sorry, what's the
Okay.
question? Am I going to take over for you? No.
We actually,
no, Sandra McKellett.
Oh, okay.
Sandra Stemp, you can hang tight there for a second. No.
we actually just had a whole luncheon and membership drive all focused on Tech Trek. We wanted to show our donors exactly what they're getting. I made a 10-minute and 45-second tape of our video of Tech Trek. They loved it. And all of our girls, we have them come to different things. We had 2 get-togethers. They marched in the parade. We invite them to everything. So they are used to getting messages from us. When I went to camp, It was the most fun I ever had. I felt like I was at a fat farm because we had to walk so much. But the food was good. The girls were wonderful. The thing I did not like was screeching. I forgot how much middle school girls screech when they're having fun, but it's good. It's a good screech. I had wonderful girls in my dorm group, and I went to most of the classes just because I was excited about it. And I would try those things like the electrical circuits, and now I'm doing robotics because I'm trying to learn to code, and I found it really fun. And I hadn't been around girls that age for a long time, and it was really, I felt younger, I felt exhilarated, and I was really hopeful for the future.
Yeah.
And a lot of our members who saw these Tech Trek girls before they went and then saw them speak about Tech Trek, they said how confident and poised they were. They really felt like they were getting their money's worth. And they were excited about it. Everyone wanted to be a coach next time. So it was a great experience. And
and Sandra, this was your first year doing the
it
branch
absolutely
coordinator stuff,
was,
right? So
right. And even people who have worked on other levels on Tech Trek had no idea how much fun it is to be in the mix, to be a volunteer and like a dorm mom or a teacher or doing anything. And I went around and candidly took pictures, and I put them all together with music and made a video.
it was wonderful.
So they were amazed at what the girls did. They had no idea. They saw them in their habitat, in the with the microscopes, and walking around campus and having fun together, building things together, putting their engineering skills to work on their building what they had built.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had an unusually great group, but I really had fun.
Debbie.
Okay, well, I don't think she was looking for a pep talk on Tech Trek. I think she was looking for a pep talk on being a branch coordinator.
Yeah.
And I just would say, when Tech Trek shifted over to doing all this stuff online instead of in person, my mind was blown, and it was very hard for me at first to really kind of figure out, because the tech is a little ahead of where I am for sure, but you do get used to it quickly. I would say one thing, I would try and start contacting or nudging the teachers before December or early December, because they're not going to want to deal with it during the holidays. You don't want to wait till afterward, because then you start feeling like there's a time crunch. So contact your teachers and tell them, look, Tech Trek is coming again. Start looking at your girls, and if you need any help, give me a call, and give them some specifics, like especially, girls need to be, this camp needs to be something they probably won't get a chance at otherwise. If their parents are rich, they're going to send them to camp and they don't need this. So, let's we want to get those girls. We want to make sure they all have excellent behavior and can respect adults and are really wanting to learn the material. And then just keep checking in, go to every branch meeting every coordinator's peer group meeting that comes up, and eventually it'll start to, oh yeah, now I see, I do this, then this I do, and this is how the website works and everything.
Right.
So believe in yourself and ask questions and just keep going.
And use the Tech Trek alumni, like the girls that just went to camp are going to be very helpful with, going back to their teacher that they got nominated by, and, helping to talk to the new girls too, which is very helpful.
And one of the other things that can help is, especially if you're in a community where you have a lot of Hispanic, you need somebody that speaks Spanish. Some of your alum probably speak Spanish and they can help you with that. So they can work with you on this. So there's nothing that says that they can't be part of your selection committee.